Hi, it's Chris from Simple Family Finance, and I just wanted to show you real quick a calculator that I like to use to determine when you will become debt-free or when you can pay off all of your debt. The website is whatsthecost.com, and they call it a snowball calculator because it uses the snowball method that was made famous by Dave Ramsey and others. And essentially, the snowball method of paying off your debt is you take all of your extra money and pay off one debt at a time. So obviously you're paying the minimum payments on all of your loans. Say you have 5 of them. You make all your payments as agreed on all of your loans, but you focus on one of them at a time. So if you have an extra $50 a month, you go ahead and pay that extra $50 on one of those loans until it's paid off. Once that loan is paid off, then you take all of that extra money, including the minimum payment that you had been paying, and you put it onto the next loan. And you just keep focusing on one at a time until they're all gone. And that's the snowball method. It's an excellent way to pay off debt because it's not as though you are paying off one debt and then taking that $200 a month and then spending it elsewhere, spending it in your food budget or spending it on entertainment and that sort of thing. That $200 continues to stay into paying off debt. So anytime you can devote a certain amount of money to paying off debt until it's all gone, you're obviously going to be more successful. So that's the snowball method of paying off your debt. The calculator comes into play because you can find out specifically what your debt-free date would be and how putting extra money onto that repayment schedule would affect it. You know, if I put an extra $50 a month on there, how would it affect it? How much extra interest would I pay, or less interest in that case would I pay? All of those sort of things. And it gives you a specific date because we all know that if anything, any kind of goal that we have, it's nice to have a light at the end of the tunnel. And a date gives us that. So some sort of extra motivation. So this is a real simple calculator. And the first thing you're going to do is put how many debts you have, so how many loans. And I'm using the example that I used on the website for Lars and Laurel Luxury and their goal of getting out of debt. So we'll use their statistics here. So you have 3 debts. You can also choose how you want to pay off the debts. Do you want to do it by interest rate, or do you want to do it by the balance? So do you want to pay off the highest balance first, or actually in this case the lowest balance first, or do you want to start with the highest interest rate and pay those off first? And that's really up to you. It's psychological versus financial. If it helps you to pay off the smallest balances first so that you can have some small victories along the way, then do the balance. Otherwise, the interest makes the most financial sense, but I understand both ways. So the debt, you're going to give it a debt name, student loan. In this case, it's a $22,000 student loan at 5% interest, and my monthly payment is $233. So pretty simple. You just put in the loans that you have, including the credit cards. And in this case, I put a 3% of balance monthly payment because if you know anything about credit cards, the monthly payment usually varies by your balance. And so in this case, I put a 3% of the balance on there, and your credit card may be different. So in that case, you're going to head up here, and then you're going to put the minimum debt payments, your total payments per month, right in this box. Now, you'll notice if you come down and you just leave that as 0, then it does not snowball. You're going to basically pay the minimum payment, and that's it, and then you're going to keep the rest of the money and not put it towards debt repayment. So in that case, we got to come all the way down because it's going to take you until May of 2041 to finally pay off everything. So that's way too long. So you can see how, we'll show you how the snowball works better. So if we just pay the minimum payments, it's going to be $1,008 for the 3 loans. If we keep that in the debt repayment, keep that as our goal, and we continue to snowball that money, then you're going to come down here and you're going to find out when you're going to repay. So you can see we're taking $540, and even though our minimum payment is not $540 on this credit card in 2015, we're going to continue to pay that money. And you can see that we're going to pay that off in 2016 instead of 2041. And then we're going to take whatever extra money and we're going to put it right onto this one. And that one's going to pay off really quickly. And then we're going to put all the entire $1,008 and we're going to put it onto this last loan, which means that we will be debt-free in August of 2017. So about 5 years we'll be debt-free. If we were to put another, I think in the example I put $350 on there. So if we put $1,358, which would be our minimum payments, plus we found an extra $350 a month to go ahead and put towards our debt repayment. If we were to do that, we can come down here and we can see that we'll be out of debt completely December 2015. So we're taking an extra year and a half off of our debt by putting that $350 on there. And obviously you can play with it and decide how much you can put, how much extra money you can put on there, and you just enter that in there and just continue to play with it and see what works for you, and then make a specific goal so that you have a specific date in mind of when you can become debt free. And that's how it works. Real simple.